Well, the day has finally come. Today is the day I piss off the Barbs. It can no longer be avoided, I am afraid. We are finally here. Nicki Minaj, most recently in the spotlight for her very public back and forth with Cardi B, is back on Twitter and she is doing her usual thing of saying whatever comes to her mind without even giving it a second thought. Nicki Minaj made a post yesterday, November 1st, and we are just going to get right into it, okay? It's a picture of a Donald Trump post from, I have to assume, Truth Social, and the post reads as follows. Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. But that is the least of it. When Christians or any such group is slaughtered like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide, okay, something must be done. I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and report back to me. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Nicki Minaj then had this to say. Reading this made me feel a deep sense of gratitude. We live in a country where we can freely worship God. No group should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion. We don't have to share the same beliefs in order for us to respect each other. Numerous countries all around the world are being affected by this horror, and it's dangerous to pretend we don't notice. Thank you to the president and his team for taking this seriously. God bless every persecuted Christian. Let's remember to lift them up in prayer. Before we get into this, I want to be very clear. Nobody should be persecuted on the basis of their religion. No one should be killed on the basis of their religion. However, let's not pretend that that is what the Trump administration is really talking about here. When they say radical Islamists, they are trying to paint the image of scary Muslims who are going to attack you or kill you because you're not Muslim, versus the white Christian who is nice and being attacked and hurt by these scary Muslims. That is the image he is trying to paint. It has nothing to do with protecting people or trying to stop religious persecution, and everything to do with we hate Muslims and we want to paint them as scary barbarians. And so for Nicki Minaj to get up here and say numerous countries all around the world are being affected by this horror and it's dangerous to pretend we don't notice, to me that echoes the sentiment of Trump and his followers that the West is being invaded by Muslims and they're gonna try and implement Sharia law in the West and all that shit. Now, there have been human rights groups that have urged the Nigerian government to take action on certain issues in the country. There is no evidence of Christian genocide or mass persecution of Christians in any way from what I can find. And Trump tried to pull this exact same card earlier in the year with South Africa, when he did the whole humiliation ritual and made them sit down and watch a video that ended up not even being from South Africa, if I recall correctly. Basically, what is happening here is the Trump administration is lying, like it usually does, and Nicki Minaj is amplifying it. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know whether or not she is actually concerned with Christian persecution in some way, but I can tell you that the Trump administration is not concerned at all. They are only concerned with pushing this white supremacist narrative, and Nicki Minaj is helping them do that. Not only is she helping them do that, as a black woman, she is performing a specific role for them in being the person to come out and say, I support this, I'm here for this. It allows white supremacists, the Trump administration, anybody who wants to come out and be like, No, see, this isn't a race thing. It's a religion thing. It's about religious persecution. It's obviously not a race thing because Nicki Minaj supports it. It's the same thing Candace Owens has done her entire career. And the comments were not on her side, it seems. You have people from Nigeria talking about recent attacks that have occurred and saying that they have nothing to do with religion, that they do not discriminate between Christians and Muslims, which is supported by what I found online. You have people pointing out how there are actual Christians being persecuted under Israeli occupation in Palestine.
How does your Christian faith inform how you resist this occupation?
Jesus also saw a lot of, like injustices happening. We refuse to hate, but that doesn't mean to accept the bad actions that people are doing against us.
People calling Trump a charlatan. Someone said, I know this is an agenda to take over Nigeria, but I can't prove it yet. And honestly, yeah. I tend to agree, if only because I think Trump is trying to start a war so that he doesn't have to have another election. If I wanted to put on my blue anon hat, I think that Trump, including all the stuff he's trying to do in Venezuela, I think he's trying to start a fucking war so that he can not turn over the goddamn presidency. He made a comment at one point to Zelensky, I think, where he was like, oh, if you have a war, you don't have to have elections. That's good to know.
So you say during the war, you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now. So you mean if we happen to be in a war with somebody, no more elections. Oh, that's good. I wonder what the fake.
You like this idea?
Yeah,
No.
Speaking of news, I got a question for you. This sounds insane for me even.
And it's like, sir, you can't just drop little hints like that. You can't be like that. He keeps hinting at a possible third term. It's so ridiculous. It's so bad. What is the Constitution? I'm someone who fucking doesn't even vibe with the Constitution completely. We're talking about a piece of paper that was written by men who did not view me as a full human being. On that basis alone, I have issues with this document. Not in its entirety. There are definitely good things in there. Freedom of speech, religion, press, all that shit. Due process, that kind of thing. But there are definitely also things that I personally would maybe have changed. But still, Trump is just saying, fuck it. Trump and his friends are like, fuck it, who cares about the Constitution? They said, fuck a Constitution, we ball anyways. So that's where we're at. This ain't it, Nicki. You've got so many people who are not pleased with her, dude. I can't tell how many of these are actual barbs or are actual fans, but you get the gist here. This is Nicki Minaj. This is what she's doing these days, I guess. I don't know what to say. I mean, I've said all I want to say. This is very much about white supremacy and painting a narrative where Muslims and Arabs are viewed as lesser than, are viewed as barbarians, are viewed as people who cannot live in a polite society. And Nicki Minaj is playing right into that. It's kind of sad to see. I'm not even a real big fan of Nicki. I've never really listened to her music for the most part, and at a certain point it just became impossible for me to be a fan of her after certain behavior, so I mostly just mind my own business and let her do her. But this just, I couldn't ignore this one, so there you go. There you go. I am going to wrap this up here, though. This is really all I had to say on this. So, do me a favor, hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. I would really appreciate it. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. If you made it this far, what do you think of Nicki Minaj as a whole? I do think she's an interesting person. She obviously has quite the legacy as far as her career goes. I'm not going to disparage that at all, and I never have. But her personality, her personal attributes, I suppose, leave a lot to be desired. So I'm curious what people think of her these days. And to the Barbs, I'm sorry. I mean no disrespect, but it had to be done. You know this one was a little wild, right? You guys know. You're not stupid. You're smart. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. And I am trying to hit 200 subscribers by the end of November. It is officially November, and it is November 2nd. So if you would like to help me reach that goal, hit that button and stick around because I make videos like this all the time. just kind of giving my thoughts on things, and it's a fun time here. So if you enjoyed it, stick around, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself. Free Palestine, free Sudan, and I will see you all next time.